Well, it's been a bit of a wild and woolly afternoon. I think we'll call this session back in control but buggered because I'm starting to run a little bit low on juice. And that's pretty normal when we're busy. So, welcome back. We're going through in 2 hour blocks what the work of what I consider myself to be a typical commercial real estate agent in regional Australia. The hour blocks that we're looking at now is going to be between 2 o'clock and 4 o'clock. The first thing that I did in that period is we worked on what's called an offer to purchase. Now, an offer to purchase can be handled in different ways. In residential, an offer to purchase can quite often just be, I'll pay, $480,000 for that house, and the real estate agent will go off to the seller and negotiate from there. In commercial, because things are more complicated, we actually prefer to use our offers and purchase, or I in particular, in writing. So we have a look at details like on that offer to purchase is who's your lawyer, who's your accountant, who's your banker, get those material. What conditions are you looking for? Are you looking for a due diligence period? Are you looking for building and pest? And in this case, building and pest was important because it's a building that we're having a look at. This is a different building to what I started off the day with, so we're actually progressing to different clients at this stage. The client I'm working with right now is actually my longest client who's been with me. I'm not sure the terminology on it. We've sold his business, now we're looking at selling his building, so it's been a good transition, and and he's just great to be around. He's very much different to me and just makes me laugh. But he's a gentleman who's retiring and looking to transition across and manage his assets in a different way. So in this particular instance, I elected to use emails. Why did I do that? Normally, an offer to purchase in my realm of the world would be I'd go and visit the client. Yes, it's 35 degrees and damn hot out there, but that's not the reason. I've recognized that this client, the buyer, is a little bit on the more nervous side. So by doing an email and crafting it carefully, with only just small steps ahead and assurances and safety and the likes of that and security for them, I'm more likely to get a good result. And a good result being they put an offer in writing to us. I also supplied the information they were looking for. One of the things when I worked in the Australian Taxation Office, I had a manager who is a very different style to me. They are very, as a her too, is very strong, very powerful, all about winning, all about progressing forward. Now, it doesn't matter who I work for, who you work for. You can always learn something from it. And one of the things that this lady was really good at is what you call quid quo pro. And the way that she worked out, I remember she pulled me up one day after I finished the phone call. She says, "What are you doing?" And I was sort of, yeah, well, pass. What am I doing? She said, "You don't give that information out without getting something back in return." And as gee whiz, that'll be a 30-something-year-old in that time. I thought, wow, that's a little bit Machiavellian. I'm not sure I'm in that sort of style. I'm more into customer service and hope that they see nice and take care of it. Over time, I've probably gotten a little bit harder, but not quite to the stage what my old boss was. So in this particular instance, that client wanted some information to take to their bank. So I organized that, I gave them that, and then to my old boss's style, I put forward the offer to purchase to try and progress that deal a little bit further on down the track. So it's essentially I give you something, you give me something, and we keep working on along the path. The the challenge sometimes with nice salespeople is you will be doing a lot of work and not getting any results. And that's because you're not progressing forward. There are certain critical points in a sale process, and you need to make sure that you challenge those points on a regular basis. Sending that invoice this morning was an example of challenging that critical, critical, critical point. Told you I'm getting tired. It's been a long day. In that particular instance, it was only then that the lawyer brought forward that the settlement of that contract has been pushed back 30 days. So you need to push and keep getting that progress forward. So that was the offer to purchase to look at. Then I had one of my regular clients, and this client's been with me from before this business because I was a business consultant for about a decade, and I've done work with them before, and they needed an appraisal. Now, this is for a superannuation fund, and that is just what do you call it? Anemas for real estate agents. There's nothing in it. It just takes time. Every year, accountants want to have appraisals done. The accountant will charge you $250 to come and tell me to go get an appraisal. And a lot of agents, they just won't even do appraisals anymore. I've actually gone to the stage of appraising properties at a fee, which has made people sort of start to realize that, well, it's taken me a good couple of hours to get this organized. In this instance, the accountant has come back twice. So they sort of wanted an appraisal, but they really wanted an appraisal on their terms. Firstly, that their price was obviously too high because it's increased since last year. Well, hello, I've explained that prices for leasing are tied to property prices, and property prices have risen quite dramatically. So lease prices will increase dramatically. And then the next rework that the accountant wanted is they didn't want a range. They want a fixed value because accountants need fixed values. Appraisals generally have a range. And look, to be honest, in this instance, I'd change that range to being a point of the minimum amount will be such and such. But normally you put a rate of a range because it's not, well, say it's not rocket science because we can't work out the right answer until we have someone else leasing the property. And what was, I love accountants, don't get me wrong, but they do drive me nuts sometimes. But yeah, one of the things that I challenged them was, okay, well, let's see if we can find a really, really close comparative lease. So someone that has the same building, same sort of area, and how much are they paying? And we can have a look at it. And look, to be honest, if my figures were wrong, I would be happy to change them. The figures came back. If we, and it was actually a building next door to them, so it was really close, fantastic comparative. And I explained to them politely that if I had used those figures, the lease would actually be up another 50%. Hopefully, that will put this issue to bed. They'll use the numbers that I got and leave me alone till next year. But the other thing too is next year they'll know that they can fully expect a large increase. And it's all to do with taxation with self-managed super funds. If you own your building and you're renting it, you need to have a market rate. I understand this. I spent a decade in the Australian Taxation Office. I probably understand these concepts better than a lot of accountants. And it's more than once that I've actually, pulled an accountant up and explained to them what really happens on the inside. So that was another major thing that I did. Had to rework that, send that out to the client. They've got another body of work for me to do, and I looked at it and I thought, "No, just getting too tired right now. Need to get some more energy. Tackle that one tomorrow." Then I went through some more emails, cleaned them out, and there's one. I'm actually getting to really like this client. He's a first time in the industry that he's looking to purchase into, is very open to advice, shares advice openly. He's doing all the right things, not because he's listening to me, but because he's just pretty savvy. Actually, I think would be the way to look at it. One of the things people say, and I love some of the cultures, they'll ring me up for a property, and the very first question is, "What's their lowest offer?" And I thought there for a while, so how do I tackle that question? They haven't looked at the property. They haven't even looked at the profiles. They got no idea what the outgoings are, or if it's a business, they got no idea on what staff it is, what the profits is. Absolutely nothing. It's just first question is, what's the lowest price offer? And come up with this line, and I say to people, well, I find clients are very negotiable for cash offers with 7-day contracts, and then I keep quiet. And without fail now, it works beautifully. They go, no, we're not in that bracket, which is a very polite way of me saying there's not going to be a discount. Don't come to me if you're looking for a discount as a buyer. The prices that I work with the clients are good, defendable prices, and we look to deal seriously and professionally. That's why people come to me, and I'm not one who goes to a buyer and drops a price just because they can't sell it. My last sale was for 95% of the asking price. And the sale before that was about 98% of the asking price. And these are good prices. Good prices as in it's good for the buyer and good for the seller. And obviously good for me too. If there's no correlation, if it's not worthwhile for the buyer and seller, then I'm not going to get paid either. So it's in my interest to make sure that we have a good marketable price. I share this because the client that I just speaking about is looking at getting a very hot asset. There's 6 other offers on the table already, and he's savvy enough to go and get his finance approved so he can get some leverage. So his leverage will be to offer a price with pre-approved finance, and that will actually probably give him an edge. Whether it's enough to get the deal is another thing, but it suddenly differentiates him from others who put in an offer and haven't gone to the bank yet. I mentioned in an earlier video today that one of the challenges for people, they need to realize that if you're going to go buy a business or a building, you need to have your finance sorted out first. So these last 2 hours, yeah, I'm a little bit buggered, but I'm back in control. All my emails are done. All my phone calls and texts have been finished. All my actions for the day have been completed, including the top 3 things I wanted to do today. But the day is not over yet. I'm still going to work on the business. As I say, there's a common saying, you can work in the business or you can work on the business. I find that if you can spend 10 to 20% of the week, so if you're doing a 40-hour week, that's almost, half a day to a full day on building your business, it will give you good results. To me, building the business is things like YouTube videos. And what I'll be doing for the next, hopefully, couple of hours is getting back on track and focusing on my goals and getting another chapter edited in my book. Because at the end of the day, I don't want to be doing commercial real estate when I'm 120. I'd much be happier if we get income coming in from YouTube, being monetized. So please subscribe if you haven't already. It really helps me. Actually, I got feedback today from someone who watched one of my videos and they enjoyed it. So it's good to know. Like everyone, yeah, if you encourage me, I'll keep going out and making videos. Hopefully, some of them better than other ones. And the factor of having a book, it won't sell much because it's a very small market, commercial real estate agency, and buying and selling commercial properties. It's not for everybody. The commercial market is only 10% the size of the residential market, so you suddenly got only 10% of the number of buyers, and those who will buy a book is pretty small. But get a good book, get it published, get people to buy it, and, if we can make a profit on it, then that's another avenue, another income stream, and might even encourage me to go write some more books in wider genres. All right, I will now work till the next couple of hours and probably finish off with one more video at the end of the day, just wrapping things up. Let's see what else occurs. Oh, and time zones, they're great. New South Wales, people start to slow down now because they're an hour ahead of us. Yes, I love plastic time. It means I start like early in the morning with the phone calls coming in, but they start to decrease quite dramatically in the early afternoon. All right, catch you soon. Hope you're having as much fun as I am.